This is Being Human. I'm your host, Richard Atherton. Luis Gonçalves. No. We tried to do that before the podcast and I got it so wrong. Luis Gonçalves.
It's okay. No worries.
Right, okay.
Gonçalves.
There we are. Management consultant, an author, businessman. Very excited to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you so much for having me here. Super cool to always to have a chat with you. Even better to be on your podcast.
Okay. All right. So let's start with your first book, Getting Value Out of Retrospectives. So for some people listening, they've probably heard the word retrospective before, but perhaps not in a business context. So should we start with that? What is a retrospective and how did you come to write a book about it?
Yeah, sure. So for me, a very simple definition of a retrospective is just basically having the capacity to stop and analyze a bit what you did in the past and just analyze it, see where you fail or see where you can improve yourself or your team or your organization and just get one step further. Does not need to be a very big step, but a very small step and just learn with your mistakes and what happened and just take one step further, improve. Next time that you do the stuff, you will do it in a different way. So for me, it's just a way of improve yourself, improve your team, improve your organization. How did I wrote the book? Yeah, that is something that I think it's completely against what everyone else would think. I actually wrote this book with Ben Linders, as you know. And it was very, very interesting because I was changing emails yesterday with Ben, just in a completely different topic. And I was really telling him, I still remember the day that you approached me and invited me to write a book with you. And the way how everything started was very easy, very simple. I started blogging in 2011, 2012, I don't remember anymore. And at that time, I myself was struggling with retrospectives. I myself was trying to figure out new ways to do retrospectives. So I was studying a lot. I was doing a lot of retrospectives because I had a lot of teams at that time. So I started to basically document everything on my blog, new exercises, new ways of doing retrospectives, what I was learning from retrospectives and so on. And at that time, Ben, he was already an editor in InfoQ, and he came along and he saw my blog. And he approached me, hey, Luis, I'm writing a lot about retrospectives as well. I saw that you're writing a lot. How about if you put all these small ideas and small thoughts into a book? And I will talk with the InfoQ and basically we will get a pocket book published. And that's how everything started. So in a very, very simple way, we put a lot of our blogs. So some people actually approached me and said, oh, this book looks a little bit like a blog. And actually it's literally a mixture of my blog and Ben blog. We put everything together. We rewrote a lot of stuff. And every time we saw that we needed something else, we just wrote a blog post in our blogs and we just transformed the blog into the book, into a chapter of the book. And I would never expect that you could actually write a book out of it. But yeah, it happened. And the book, it was extremely successful. So there is, based on the official numbers and unofficial numbers and so on, there are more than 25,000 copies distributed all over the place. I lost already track how many languages we translated. Ben did a fantastic work on that. I think almost 10 languages, translated in almost 10 different languages. Ben really did a marvelous job there. He really took the time to coordinate all the translation in different languages. Yeah, and a lot of people now know the book, which is fantastic.
Yeah, because before I met you, I was actually using the book at one of my clients, and I hadn't really taken too much notice of the authors. And then I met you like a year later, and I'm like, oh, you wrote that book? Wow. Yeah. No, it's a very simple book and very easy to read. And your story of how you came to write it reminds me of something that David Anderson was asked, who's famous in the lean Kanban community, and he was asked, I saw him ask, how did you go about writing a book? And he says, well, don't start writing a book, start with something smaller, start blogging, right? And if you can get into the habit of producing, let's say one blog a week or one blog a month and start small and then worry about writing a book. So perhaps some
but I fully agree with David. So I did not start a book. So one of the persons that work with me in my company yesterday, she was asking, how do I start to write a book? It was exactly her question yesterday when we were chatting. And I said, you don't start writing a book, in my opinion. You start blogging. Start with the blog, start with content to the company if you want, or start your own blog, whatever you want. But just get into the habit of writing. And after that, you will be able to identify your own style. You'll be able to identify what you like to write, what you don't like to write. And then you decide what book you want to write. But I would not start today, right? So today I would the advice that I'm giving, it's what I think. I would start first with blog posts and then go to the different league, because writing a book, and it's not an easy task.
And perhaps we'll come on to that, because I know that's your current project. And the burning question I have with retrospectives, and my experience of working with teams, so it's a meeting or a session where you stop, the team stops, and they take time to reflect on how they're working together, right? And on the one hand, that seems like such an obvious thing to do, and almost common sense that teams ought to do that regularly. And yet, my experience is getting that in the diary and having people actually show up to it is like one of the hardest things to implement as a discipline in a team. Is that something you identify?
Yeah, this is completely correct. But at the end of the day, everything boils down to one very small thing. Which is the most important thing. Unfortunately, there are not many. So if you take the Scrum Master certification, if you go to proper training, Scrum, Agile, Kanban, whatever, retrospectives are always a topic that people spend like 20 minutes, half an hour talking about them. There is not much training out there. And there's people like Esther, Diana, Patrick, a bunch of other people wrote stuff about it, but it's not really something very spread on in the training, from the training point of view. And everything boils down to one big thing. I believe there is very small amount of people that actually are able to demonstrate what's the benefit of an Agile retrospective to the team. And at the end of the day, it's always the same. If the team does not see the value, if the team does not see how the retrospect will help them, they will not come to the retrospective. We always say we are busy, we need to put stuff in production, we are getting salary for the software that we release, and so on, so on, so on. So they will not come to the retrospective. So for me, this is the most basic, but the most important thing that any facilitator needs to solve first. They need to find a way to explain how retrospectives are very important. One of the basic tricks that I use, and this is again an experienced retrospective facilitators, they try to change the world, they try to solve everything, and then nothing gets solved. So what I try to do is always picking up the most important topic and convince and show the people that we solved one topic, now we are getting better, and little by little get small victories. And convincing a team of a retrospect, or the importance of a retrospect, is not something that you can get out of in 5 minutes. It takes several weeks, because they need to see the results. So really start very, very small. Start really with one small thing that they are struggling with, solve that, and then go to the next one, go to the next one, get to the next one. But to summarize everything, yes, it's very hard to make it happen. But the main reason, from my point of view, from my experience, is because people do not see the value out of it.
Right. That's actually great advice, because I've definitely been experienced retrospectives where you do end up with a kind of laundry list of all of the things that you want to change, and then you segment your time and let's spend 5 minutes on this and 5 minutes on that, and you sort of end up with that.
I was doing exactly that same mistake when I started, and now I do not finish retrospectives with more than 2 topics maximum, and sometimes more, but it's this kind of stuff. An action point, or please, you need to do this or that. That's it. There is no, it's just something that someone forgot to order, whatever, or some very basic stuff that doesn't really demand any reflection or any change on the way how we work. But if it's something really deep that we need to change the way how we work, or we need to implement, we need to change, different process or whatever, then I do not take more than 1 topic.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Especially at the beginning, right? When people are
and there's another thing that people don't really understand so much. If you change 2 or 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 things at the same time, right? You are software development is extremely complex world. So if you really want to be serious about learnings, if you change 5 things at the same time, you really don't know what change caused what. So at the end, you simply don't learn anything because you are changing a lot of things. And one thing that I experienced many times, sometimes when you change one simple thing, many other things disappear because you are touching a problem that's the root cause of many other things, many other symptoms. So it does not make sense to change 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things at the same time, because most probably when you change one very important thing, a lot of the other small things will disappear.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense as well. Yeah, fantastic. So that was your first book. And I now know you're onto your next book project, right? Organisational Mastery, which sounds very sort of ambitious as a title. Could you tell us a little bit about what this new project's about?
Yeah, and like I said before 5 minutes ago, writing a book is a hard one, and for me, this Organizational Mastery, it's a project 100 times more challenging than the previous one, because to be very honest, the first one was kind of let's try out, let's have some fun with it. This one I'm addressing executive leaders, so this book is really targeting CEOs, CTOs, CIOs, management board directors, whatever, the really the people that can have huge impact in the organizations. The book appeared because I'm developing evolution for all on product, on approach. So I have a very strong opinion. As you know, I've been in Agile community since 2004, 2005. I already lost track. I'm kind of very disappointed where the whole Agile community is going. I think now everyone is trying to solve problems with hugs and fluffy stuff, which I think it's very, very important. The way how we treat people, but I think the whole focus, it's going really away from delivering software and making money. Of course, on the way, you need to treat people with respect is the most basic thing that you need to have in place. But I think the whole Agile community is going the completely wrong direction. I found that implementing Agile or doing Agile transformations, from my experience, is applying Scrum in the team level, and you just apply Scrum and Agile, and everything is done via Agile. Of course, I know there are very good companies out there, very good Agile coaches, very good consultants that are doing much more than that. But 99% of the cases, what I see is, okay, we want to go to Agile, so we apply Scrum, we hire a Scrum Master who applies Scrum, and we are Agile. And kind of a lot of the transformations, a lot of the implementations from my point of view fail miserably because they forgot to include the whole executive leadership. They forgot to really understand how do you translate the strategy into the operations. How do you basically make sure that the whole organization is working on the right direction? How do you drive innovation? How do you remove impediments on the organization level? So for me, all these problems, and I found these problems after talking with several executives. I had the opportunity to interview several executives, identify what are your biggest problems in your organization. And to be very honest, not even one single person told me, the agility. Right. Agility for them is just a tool to achieve more money, to achieve more revenue, to create a fantastic organization where people want to work for. But agility, I saw Carl Scotland once in Warsaw 2 or 3 years ago, and he said something that he might not be the author of it, but the quote stayed here, which is basically, if I remember correctly, the Agile is just a tactic, right? The strategy is to become really effective, really powerful company, delivering really great products, making really fantastic stuff. But Agile is just a tactic. It's just a tool that you have to achieve a bigger thing. And that's why I create Organizational Mastery, and I'm developing this product of Organizational Mastery, and I'm writing a book. Is because I have been implementing Agile for several years in my previous organizations where I worked as an employee, now as a consultant, and I want to bring something different to the game. So I created and developed a product where basically touch 5 different things, 5 different areas, which is connecting strategy to the daily operations, reorganize the whole company to optimize for flow, make sure that we continuously improve, removing the organization impediments and making transparent all the problems that we have in the organization, sharing knowledge with community of practices and make sure that everyone has opportunity to share the whole knowledge with each other, and drive innovation. So basically, this is a 12-month product that we did, and the book is just basically an explanation of this product.
Of those 5 themes, yeah.
Yeah, the first part of the book is really a much more theoretical way, what you need to do, my approach, what you need to do, what are the problems of the current organizations, and how can we actually do it. And the second part is almost a step-by-step, almost a case study of how you can do it in your organization based on what I'm doing with my customers right now. So I have, at this moment, my company has 3 customers where I'm deploying the whole approach. And this is what I'm trying to pass on the book. But this is a hard product, so I really did not play around. I really hired a publisher. I'm working on a weekly basis with my editors. We have phone calls every week. We really go through all the content. And now, by the way, I'm actually starting to release the chapter 1 by 1 to the whole beta readers. So I'm collecting beta readers on the weekly basis, and now every week, every 2 weeks, I will start to put a chapter out so that people can give feedback, which the first time it was this week, I already got almost more than 50, 60 emails, which was fantastic, of people replying to me, giving me extremely valuable feedback. And now I will just improve based on the feedback and continue.
That's awesome. I mean, you're obviously getting a huge amount of engagement if you're getting that many emails back from the...
Yeah, this is what I was really excited, because if you get 50 people replying, pressing the reply button, usually this is a very small percentage of people, right? The ones that really take the time to press the reply button and give you an advice or feedback. And yes, I got almost 50 people, which is extremely, it's huge.
Okay. So there's a couple of thoughts running through my head now. So you've talked about potentially the problems with the Agile movement, but you're also saying that Agile is just a tactic, and actually you're addressing perhaps broader questions at the business level that may be more interested in executives or interesting for executives. Mm-hmm. But if we just take the Agile piece to begin with, and your concerns about where it's moving, I mean, the first statement, the value statement in the Agile Manifesto is individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So wouldn't that indicate that actually the most important thing for us to focus on within a sort of the Agile context is individuals or people?
Definitely.
So what's your critique in terms of, well, they're too interested in the fluffy stuff or whatever?
Yeah, because if you go to conference nowadays, there is so little, and the Agile Manifesto was very clear, right? Just because you have something on the left, that does not mean it's the only thing is important, right? It means that the people are more important than the tools and the process and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, let's not forget, your salary is paid with the revenue that the company makes, right? So, and for me, I don't know, maybe I'm different, maybe I'm trying to create something completely different. For me, treating the people with respect, making them feel awesomely well in your company, creating the right environment, all this stuff, it's a pre-requirement. You cannot even do anything without that, right? So for me, I think is the community nowadays is so much focused on this part and completely forgetting the whole part. So my critique is, for example, a lot of Agile coaches, Scrum Masters complain that executives don't care with Agile, executives don't care with agility, which I already explained why I think they don't care. But imagine this scenario. Imagine that a bunch of CTOs, I'm working right now with a great guy, very, very, very important executive level, that this guy is actually sending me links. A couple of weeks ago, he sent me a link. Hey, Louis, Jeff Patton is coming to Düsseldorf. This is interesting. Imagine an executive knowing Jeff Patton. So this is not normal, right? But this
and for people who are perhaps not familiar with Jeff Patton, who's that?
Yeah, so Jeff Patton is basically one of the guys that is doing the most, from my point of view, on product ownership, product development in the Agile community. Okay, so imagine this scenario. having a couple of CEOs or CTOs that, okay, my company is going into the Agile stuff, Agile movement, Agile direction. I really want to know a little bit more about this stuff. So I want to go to an Agile community, Agile conference. And these executives go to Agile conferences. And during one entire day, there is nothing about delivery, nothing about how to improve the organization, how to improve profitability, how to create an organization that actually delivers great products, and so on, so on. The whole entire day, it just listens about courage and psychologically safeness and hugging and games. And again, I want to be very clear, because I know that when people will hear this, they will criticize me, but I don't care. But I want to be very clear. All this safeness, all this stuff, it's a pre-requirement. I'm not saying it's not important, but I think the whole community is going to the fluffy side of the stuff and really forgets the whole delivery part, which actually pays their salaries. Right? So it's all about, it's whatever the team wants. If the team does not want, we don't do it. What matters is making the team feel happy and the people feel happy, you know. And I took a professional coaching training, which is very, very interesting. And the way how they define high performing teams is very simple. There are two angles. A high performing team is a team that is high productive and high positive. So the positivity needs to be there, right? But if you have positivity, but you don't have the productivity, you are not a high performing team. You are not delivering, right? So again, these two axes are very important, but I just think that the whole community is going into the positivity part and completely forget the productivity part.
Right. It's swung too far in that direction, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I remember one of my first blog posts I wrote was about the feminization of the IT department and this need to embrace more sort of, I know that, you know, there may be some reactions using this language,
but again,
more feminine values. And so perhaps you're suggesting that we've swung too far in that direction.
No, because the thing is, for example, all this feminization, for me, there is a huge wave there, right? And
it's actually part of a broader societal wave, I would suggest.
Yes,
right,
but the thing, you see, I demonstrate my values in a completely different way. 3 weeks ago, I had a big discussion with a person about rights, ladies' rights in the IT and in the companies. And, you know, I'm based in Germany. Everyone knows that ladies in Germany gets 20-25% less than men doing exactly the same salary. So there is a huge discrimination, right? And right now we are 6 people in Evolution for All. 5 people, sorry. 2 of them are ladies. And the only, actually, those 2 ladies are the only internal people. So they are the only employees, if you don't count in me. And you look to their salaries, they get exactly the same amount of money that anyone outside of the company would get as a man, right? And more I want to employ women because they are simply different. They have an emotional intelligence that men cannot have. They have the touch that men cannot have. They are 100 times calmer than men. They listen. I really believe the potential of women, right? But I don't have this need. But again, right? I'm not a woman, so I don't feel the problems that ladies have in the society, right? But I don't go and talk a lot about women's and so on. The way how I show my respect is acting, is really hiring the persons. So 70% now of my employees together with me are women. So this is how I show that I really appreciate ladies. The salaries are exactly the same as if they would be a man. And they clearly are telling me now, you are the best employer I ever had in my life, the way how you respect and the way how we feel comfortable with you. And this is my way. And we come back to the same fluffy topic 5 minutes ago, right? So I treat them almost like family, and I'm super careful. I call every employee every day. I text them, are you okay? Everything is sure, because they are on the customers. I'm in a different side. So I'm here for them, right? And this is how you should do. You should not spend so much time, in my opinion, talking about so many fluffy stuff. I think you should spend more time actually doing something to enable that people are respected. Maybe it's a different way. Maybe their way of doing stuff is going to conference. But I just think the whole community is going into a strange direction.
Right. But they would argue that what they're advocating, perhaps, if let's say it's a particular game that builds intimacy in the team or deepens connections in the team, well, they would say that is doing something, right? That is doing something that's going to have some tangible outcome.
Yes, but again, I do this kind of stuff as well, right? The thing is, I don't see the need to, because for me, this is the pillar. Nothing works without this kind with this respect, right? So you need to get this stuff done. And maybe, yeah, I know there's companies out there that are really idiots. And I work in companies that I have bosses who are psychopaths. I treated like shit, and I know there are a lot of not pleasant people out there. But I really feel that if we really want to be respected as a community, if you really want to convince executives, because now we came back to the same discussion, right? People sometimes comment, these executives don't have a clue about agility and so on. And they will never care, right? Because put yourself in the shoe of an executive, 500, 600, 1,000 people under you, and you go to a conference to understand more what is Agile. And the only thing they do, it's talking about stuff that's not related at all with business results. I know I'm very polemic. A lot of people don't agree with my point of view, but again, it's my opinion.
No, yeah, it's good to share your opinions and not to self-censor. So no, but I can certainly see where you're coming from. Yeah, having experienced some of these conferences, yeah, there's definitely a tilt towards the people side, and I think there is a case. I think one could make the case that perhaps it's gone too far.
Maybe I'm a little bit biased, because to be very honest, I was very, very lucky a few years ago to report directly to an executive, and since then, now my daily work is with executives. So I don't work with teams anymore, right? So I lost quite a lot of contact on the daily work. Of course, I work with teams, talking with them and so on, but my work is mainly now with executives. And I see their concerns are completely different, right? So maybe I become more and more biased towards the executives and towards their language and towards their concerns. But then again, if I look back 5, 6, 7 years, when I see where Agile was really making impact in organizations, right? We were not talking anything about this stuff. And people were really doing huge impacts in organizations. Right now, Agile went mainstream, and when it goes mainstream, it attracts everyone, right? So the ones that are really interesting and the ones that most probably would not like to have. But yeah, this is the price that we need to pay.
Right. The price that we need to pay for what you think that in the process of it becoming more mainstream, somehow it's changed its message, somehow it's become something else.
Yeah, because to be honest, 6, 7 years ago, you would go to an Agile conference and you really had hardcore people that they are so knowledgeable, right? Now you go to an Agile conference, there are a bunch of people, consultants that still think and they have the whole mindset, and now Agile is the new flag to make money. They just take a certification, and basically now they are Agile, and they call themselves Agile coaches, right? So 3 weeks ago, I was completely attacked, but I don't care. I have my opinion and I will share it. I got one person that I saw, she basically was a cashier in Lidl without any education in computer science, without any experience in computer science. And she went from a Lidl cashier to an Agile coach. And yeah, exactly. That was exactly the reaction that I had. And I said, no wonder that there are so many Agile implementations that are completely miserable. And then I was completely attacked because people say you are racist or whatever. That was not even racist. I don't remember. So you don't like to give opportunities to people. Yes, I love to give opportunities to people, but Agile coach is not something that you go from a cashier in Lidl and you become an Agile coach. I was Scrum Master for 6, 7 years. And the first time I became an Agile coach, I had the balls to put the title of Agile coach. And first thing I did, I went to take professional coaching training, one-on-one coaching training. I went to Liz Atkins training. I went to ORSC training. I took so much training on coaching. And before that, I was 6, 7 years Scrum Master. And nowadays everyone is an Agile coach without any clue what actually Agile means, and without even being a Scrum Master or a product owner, whatever.
Right. So they haven't got the professional grounding to be effective.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, another thing that I have a very strong opinion. A lot of people tell me, I believe that let me start. In my company, I don't hire anyone that doesn't have a technical background. And a lot of people accuse me, oh, this is so stupid. There is a lot of people that don't have technical background, they are great. And that's true. There's a lot of people out there that don't have technical background and they are great. But maybe it's 5% of them. And to be very honest, on the daily basis, like I said, I discuss with executives, but I have a lot of discussion with developers. And they still ask me for opinion sometimes for very technical stuff like branching strategies, refactoring, design patterns, and we all know, the ones that work in the industry, we all know that software developers are tricky. I was a software developer myself. Sometimes we are difficult persons, right? So to get respected by software developers, it's very tough. So if you are coming from business or psychology or marketing and you try to go into Scrum Mastering or Agile coach, you will have a hard time. Really, really hard time. And yeah, I think a lot of people became Agile coach without really the right knowledge. It's just a trend nowadays. It's a way to make money. Everyone is recruiting Agile coaches, so let's recruit Agile coaches, let's put a title and that's it. Right. And this is why you were asking about Organizational Mastery in the book. And this is another reason why I try to create a more holistic approach. So the whole idea of evolution for all, when people come to us, it's we don't do Agile transformations. So we deploy our product, and the prior requirement is you need to already to have some strong Scrum Masters, Agile coaches, and so on, because my purpose is to solve much bigger problems and try to really use Agile. Of course, Agile is the pre-basic for everything, but trying to go in a much more holistic view, holistic way.
Right. But almost by your same argument, what happens if an executive, if you're in front of an executive and you're saying, "Hey, I've got some views on how you should be running your organization," and they say to you, Lewis, "Well, you've only ever run software teams. What gives you the right to tell me how to run my company? What things you'll have insight into these broader questions?"
Well, I work in software industry for the last 15 years, right? So I was a software developer, I was a Scrum Master, I was a team lead. Now I'm even doing line management in some of my customers. They asked me to take this interim role. And I run my own company. And the thing is, of course, my own company is not a 500 people company, right? But what I'm deploying, or the Organizational Mastery, instances of it appeared in previous companies where I worked and where we deployed this, and it was very successful. And those are the examples that I have. And there are companies known in Germany. So this is the way the way I would approach. I would not, to be very honest, I don't think, to be very honest, that I would have this discussion with an executive, because I'm very clear. I don't want to convince anyone. So if an executive comes to me and say, what do you have to teach me about how to run an organization? This is already the wrong customer. So I'm not even going on that direction. So I'm becoming very selective with the people with whom we work. And there's this whole saying that for you to teach someone, that person wants to receive your trainings or your learnings. But you touch on very interesting topic, because being able to run my own organization, and again, it's a tiny place, right? But still, it's more than 99.9999% of the Agile coaches out there. A lot of the Agile coaches out there, most of them, they are simply freelancers. They never run an organization. They are telling executives how to change their organization without being involved on the risk. So I had discussion every month. I have this similar discussion. So thank you so much for bringing this topic, because one of my customers right now was the CIO was my previous boss 3 years ago. And we went for coffee last week, and this is so funny. And I told him, 3 years ago, I told you to do something with your organization that I'm still wondering why you didn't tell me to screw me and bug off. Because now I look back and I realize how risky and how stupid it was if something goes wrong, the impact that has in people's life and the employee's life, right? Luckily, he did not listen to me at that time. But this is the thing, when it's such a small thing, but such a huge thing. When you start to have people under your payroll, right? And now at the end of the month, it starts to approach and you start to think, I need to pay salary to this person. They have mortgage, they have families, they have schools to pay, and so on, so on. Your life completely changed. The way how you approach people completely changed. And to be very honest, Evolution for All is going now hit most probably within the next few months, we will hit 1 million euros revenue. And to be very honest, when you are a freelancer Scrum Master and you go to an executive saying, you should do this, it's very normal that the executive will look to this guy, yeah, but who the hell are you to talk to me in this way and tell me what to do? When you go to an executive and say, to do this, right? Who are you to talk with me like this? I'm a guy that in 1 year transformed a company from 100K to 1 million. So I must know what I'm talking about. It's in the small company. I must have something to teach you because I really not a freelancer. I'm a business guy right now. And this, I noticed that it really gives confidence, right? Because this guy looks at you and say, okay, this guy already is doing some really good revenue. So he really needs to know something about what he's talking about. So this is my trick, right? So when people ask me why they should care and listen to you and not others, for me, first of all, it's my long experience, right? This is the thing that I want to be listened for. But becoming more a successful person helps tremendously in working with executives. And once one executive told me my face, right, when I was Scrum Master, he really literally told me, Luis, who the hell are you to teach me what is right, what is wrong? You are a Scrum Master. I'm an executive of a company doing 500 million a year. So who is right and who is wrong? And definitely you listen and you hear this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that is completely right, because he might be an executive of 500 million company, but he might be doing completely the wrong thing because based on what the society needs now. Because this is a lot of conversations that I have together with some of my colleagues. Everyone calls the CEOs are so stupid. The CTOs don't understand anything of Agile. And I'm very careful saying, be careful, right? If these guys are CEOs of company, $500, $1 billion company, they must be doing something right. Otherwise, they will not be there. Now, the conversation cannot go, you are stupid, don't understand anything. You say, no, you need to be much more soft and say, I understand you are a very extremely successful guy, but you are where you are. What led you to be here? Maybe it will not keep you here for long, because the whole society and the whole ways of organization are run needs to be changed. Right. So it's a completely different speech.
Okay. And what are you looking for so for people, you talked about people being ready to receive your learnings. What are you looking for in an executive then? What are you listening for in terms of their readiness to take on your message?
So I've been working a lot lately. During the last weeks, I've been working a lot on the messaging and the vision that I have for my company. And as we discussed on this before we start this recording, was I want to in 2-3 years, I don't want to be doing consulting anymore. I want to be the face of the company. I want to go to conference. I want to go to companies to speak, because the true mission, the true vision that I want is, a lot of people ask me, why Evolution for All? What do you want to do? And it's very clear. I want to make an impact in the world. I want to create a better world. And a lot of people, yesterday I got a comment from a guy, I even did a video on LinkedIn, say, oh, this is so altruistic and this is so fake. And say, no, it's not altruistic, it's not fake. I really, truly want to make an impact in the world. And I'm starting with my company. I'm making sure that people working with me are extremely happy, are extremely positive, are listened, so that they go home happy and have great relationships with their family, their friends, and all the people around them. They go to my customers, they spread this positivity, they change together with Evolution for All the companies, and they want to make a change in the world so that people in their company, in the customer companies, are happy, go home and have really great relationship. And then with this, we can have a ripple effect. So what I'm looking at an executive, I'm looking for people that want to make a difference. I'm looking for executives, they believe our company sucks, our company is not making enough money, I cannot pay more money than my competitors, I'm not doing revenue, we are not innovative, I want to create a company where everyone loves to be here. I want to create a company where people come to work and enjoy to be here. Of course, at the way I want to make more money as executives, because let's not lie, executives are people like us. They are looking for the results. They are looking, when can we buy the next Porsche, and so on and so on. So let's not be hypocrite. But you can combine, because everyone wants to have a nice Ferrari or whatever, a nice car, a nice living. But you can combine both. You can combine creating a better world. You can making an impact. You can create a great organization and making the personal results. So this is what I'm looking on executives. I'm looking for people that want to create fantastic organizations, highly profitable organizations, people that wants to create places where their employees are happy to come back, and not this crap that I see so much in Facebook, people crying because it's Monday and celebrating because it's Friday. My dream is to have people coming to work on Monday say, yeah, cool, I'm going to work and I'm not upset on Sunday evening thinking, oh my God, tomorrow I need to go back to work. This is the people that I want to do, because I want to be surrounded with customers that really want to help me to make a difference in the world.
Right. Okay. But then I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, well, a lot of that sounds a bit fluffy when you talk about that being happy and going home and enjoying their work. So
yes, but that's the outcome, and this is how I prove that I really care with that. But this is the outcome. But to achieve that outcome, I have a concrete step-by-step program that I want to deploy in the customers, really concrete steps to make stuff happen, right? So I definitely talk on the fluffy stuff, because for me it's very important people to be happy around me. But this is the outcome. That's not the tool, right? And I think we should focus on the tool to get the outcome. So, like I said in the beginning, I really believe on this positivity, the whole fluffy stuff, but we need to design organizations. We need to focus on the organizations to get the fluffy stuff, not the other way around, right? I don't think that we need to spend the whole time talking about fluffy stuff without changing the system, changing the organizations to achieve that, because otherwise you will not get it.
Right, which kind of gets us back to the Greeks and the sort of eudaimonic happiness versus the hedonistic happiness, and this idea that actually the happiness comes as an outcome of some level of sort of suffering and hard work, rather than something you aim for directly. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing that I find interesting about your story is you are from Portugal. Yes. You work in Germany, and we've talked before about the differences in the cultures. Can you touch a little bit on your reflections?
Don't make me go there.
On the differences and how you adjusted. I think there'll be others in that position who might be interested to hear your story.
So I want to start stating that I love to work with Germans. They are extremely direct. And I need to work with direct people, because I'm not a fluffy guy going around. I tell people stuff in the face. And this is what I love in Germany. So Germany people tell me stuff in the face, and I love it, because basically you take it and half an hour later, if needed, you go for a beer. It's not personal. It's super cool. It's business. In Portugal, if you say something in the face, if it's a boss, start looking for a new job. It's simple like that. It's a very political, very fake way of working. On the other hand, Germans are very successful on the process, on the mechanical part. And this is what really drives me nuts in the industry where we are working, because they just follow the process. They just follow rules, which for Agile implementation, I think this is great when you start an implementation, because at the end of the day, if you just follow the Scrum book, then you will be ahead of most of the organizations that try to put pieces here and pieces there. So in that sense, it's great. But I have so many teams and so many organizations that actually hurt themselves because they are already doing Scrum, they are already doing Kanban, and now it's time for them to start really thinking how to go to the next step and start to change their process to meet their goals and to make them faster. And they are trapped on the process, and they say, no, this is how Scrum is done, or this is how Kanban is done, and it's very hard for them to go away from this trap. Right? It's a culture that does not live very well with the not knowing what's coming front. It's a culture that really wants everything very detailed. Even if you send an agenda to a meeting, it needs to be very detailed to an agenda, which sometimes we don't even have a clue. We need to think a bit what's coming, and as soon as you send an agenda, a meeting, you need to have an agenda. But then again, they one thing I love here is it's a very powerful, awesome economy. There is a lot of money to do a lot of really great stuff. Portugal, unfortunately, it's a country, and people are very honest here. So very honest, very transparent. In Portugal is a very warm country. Culture is very friendly. You go to work. Some of my best friends in Portugal were my previous bosses or my colleagues. In Germany, I was never able to make friends with workers. It's just a culture does not work like that. It's not a very warm culture, work-wise, friendship. In Portugal, it is. In Portugal, we have something that there is no translation. There's no word for it, which is we call in Portuguese desenrascar. And this means it's a culture that does not matter how you do it, just get it done. So, and that's why we are so chaotic. So I really think that half German, half Portuguese would be something that no one could beat, because we would have all this strictness, really stuff from German, really order, and at the same time we would get the shit done and we would just look for the solution. So half Portuguese, maybe my kids will have that. So half Portuguese and half German. It will be a perfect mixture. But yeah, to be honest, I'm here for 10 years. I live in Germany for 10 years. In so many sense, I'm much more German than Portuguese. So every time I go to Portugal, I struggle a lot, the way how business is done there, the way how people see it there. Yeah, at the end of the day, there's a lot of difference, but Germany is still a great place to be.
Mm. And was there anything you had to change about yourself and how you operated to become more effective in Germany? Or
I changed a lot, but I don't know why, but for sure I changed so much. I became more organized, definitely. So I was very chaotic, and I needed to learn in order to survive, and especially with customers. I was very much more, before I was really going in the flow. Now I know that they expect some stuff really up front, but I already know, so I know that, and I prepare that, and it doesn't really bother me so much. What else I changed in Germany? I think that the chaotic becoming more organized was really the thing. Some people don't. So in Germany, it's very interesting. People love me or hate me because I'm very vocal about everything what I think. So I think you know I wrote an article 3 years ago, 5 reasons why Agile does not work in Germany, and that article got 1 million views. So until today, right? So yeah, thousands and thousands of LinkedIn, hundreds of thousands of my personal blog post, and yeah, there was a lot of people hating me, a lot of people loving me. So I'm very vocal, but to be very honest, I'm still Portuguese, and I'm very vocal about how Portugal has their problems, and I'm very vocal how Germany has their problems. But at the end of the day, I think I'm Portuguese, and I'm starting to prepare my return to Portugal. I will never leave Germany because it's too damn good country to live. I have too many good things here, but yeah, I miss my family. I miss Portugal. I miss the chaotic country, the chaotic culture. So I think, like I said, I will take the best of two worlds, half there, half here. And I think I will able to really build something fantastic, taking the best of both cultures.
Right. It's interesting what you say about being vocal, because I think as we move into this, I think we're moving with social media into a world where sort of personality really matters. Mm-hmm. So for brands, having strong personalities associated with the brand seems to matter more now than perhaps it did in the past. And so for you sharing about writing a post that gets 1 million views, did you grow into being that outspoken and that confident, in terms of your public speech, or was that something you had, or was that something you always had and you just?
So when I was 20 years old, my professors gave me a nickname in my university, and the nickname was Che Guevara. I think this pretty much says everything. So I never was able to control my mouth too much. I speak faster than I think, and a lot of times I regret. But nowadays, and still, I'm Portuguese. I'm very emotional. I put feelings out, but definitely something that I was always like this. And to be very honest, I tend to be more outspoken more and more, but I believe I put much more thought on it before I say something out. Because to be very honest, when you are younger, you are much more insecure. So you really think a lot about what people think about you. Now next year I'll turn 40. People like it or not, I came to Germany. I did not know one single person in Germany. 10 years later, I'm running a really successful business. I have so many contacts in the whole country. I know a lot of people here, so I must be doing something good. So, I start to not care with what people say, and I basically say out loud what I think. I'm kind of careful to not hurt people. Sometimes I know that I hurt, but even if you take a look into these 5 reasons why Agile does not work in Germany, it's very, in my point of view, it's very well written from the point of view that even if I criticize a lot the culture, I still believe that Germany will succeed. So it's just a matter of a new generation to take over and change the mindset. So, and I'm very positive towards how Germany will succeed in a few years, right? But a lot of people just take it wrong. But one thing is I learned in my life, you cannot please, this is something that my father was already teaching me when I was very, very young. You cannot please everyone. So you just need to choose your side. You need to choose in what you believe in and go straight forward. And I have a lot of people sending me emails on a weekly basis. I love the way how you are. I love the way that you don't take bullshit. I love the way that you say whatever you think, and you are making a difference. And at the end of the day, this is what counts.
Right.
And you co-trained with me. I had the pleasure to train with you in Change in Munich. I'm not a political guy. You are much more political, not political. You are British, so you are very correct, and you have all this Britishness, niceness, which I'm Portuguese and I don't have. And if I think something is not really aligned with what I think, I just literally say it. I don't have any problem with that. But I know that people will hate or people will love it, but then you are not a hypocrite and people will admire that.
Right. No, I get that. But you talk about having had regrets. Have there been moments where you've felt like you've gone too far, you've crossed the line, and you've been like,
Publicly, not much. If I did not regret of this blog post about Germany, which people send me emails calling me an idiot, calling me an asshole, and I did not regret about it, I think that was the one that I went the furthest. Publicly. Personal, of course, yes. Of course, personally, I hurted people and I apologize. Of course, publicly, I went too far.
And is it a process where you go, like, before you hit send or before you hit publish, you're like, I know I'm going to get some grief for this, but fuck it, I'm going to press
anymore.
Not anymore. Or is it you just like find this reaction after the fact?
Not anymore. I don't do that. So it's more, the problem is not the written communication. The problem is the vocal communication. Because if it's written communication, I learn with a couple of people that I wait one day before I writing. If it's something really, really provocative, I wait for one day. And then if I care with the person, right? If I care with the person, if it's a client, if it's a person that I care, I wait. If not, I just reply immediately. And then I don't care. But I learned going through this process, waiting one day, sleeping over the topic, and the next day reply, and then it's so much better.
Right, but that could be someone could use you being a bit sociopathic if you're saying, well, if I don't care about them, I'm going to hit send, and I don't care if I offend them. Maybe.
No, because I do it in the self-defense. So if I do that, it's because they attacked me. So I'm very public. I don't have any problem with that. Is when I was in the high school, I was bullied a lot. So I was bullied. And it's very interesting because at that time you don't even realize, and after so many years you don't even realize. And then I some time ago I got a personal coach, and his personal coaching, you always go back to your childhood. There's always back some stuff in the childhood, the whole your problems. I had a brilliant, fantastic and family. The success that I have today, I'm convinced it's because of the education that my parents and my brother gave to me. But in high school I was bullied, so. And then I went to the university. And the university was kind of fresh start. I was really popular in the university. I was able to get a lot of friends. And then I moved to Finland. In Finland, it's not the most pleasant country from the cultural point of view. I'm very open to it. I really struggle with the Finnish culture. It's a really Nordic culture. It's not easy for a person coming from Portugal. And I got really hurted many times. And my brain then triggered again and said, okay, I'm not going through everything what I went through in the university, in the high school. So if someone tries to attack me, I'm not immediately defending myself. So if I really attack someone, it's because I feel really attacked. And then it's just pure self-defense. I don't go full steam with someone that does not attack me.
Okay.
So it's social part. No, I don't think. I think it's more self-defense.
Okay.
And what was I don't want people that listen. This thing that Luis is sending emails. I don't want the people that is listening to the podcast thinking that Luis is sending daily emails telling people to screw themselves. It's just something that happens time to time. I think everyone, to be very honest, is if you run a business, if you are exposed as you or me are, if you have books out, if you have podcasts, people will attack you some way, right? Because you are exposed. So Veronica, my wife, she works with me, and she's one of the persons that take care of my email. So I usually only get the emails from stuff that is very addressed to me, and she forwards that to me. And she received emails that she told me several times. If I would get emails like that addressed to me, I would spend the whole day crying. So this is the kind of emails. People really can be dicks. And it's something that you just learn, and before and older I get, more mature I get, of course. And before I had this need to reply. Now I more and more start to ignore. I press the delete button and I don't even bother.
Right. Okay.
And now with this organizational mastery, right? This organizational mastery is something that I'm pretty sure will get noticed. Right, it's something different. I'm quite okay-ish with marketing, so I will push it very hard and so on. And there will be a bunch of people complaining and criticizing. This is less, and this is safe, and this is this, and this is that. And I want to be very clear. Yes, everything what is there is pieces and bits of here and there, of course. Right? It's lean change, it's community of practice, it's portfolio, it's OKRs, is design thinking, Google Sprint, lean change management, all this blah, blah, blah stuff, of course. But this is what Jürgen says, which I really love, which is a mojito is made...
Jürgen Apollo, for those who...
Apollo, yeah. Is what he says, a mojito is a mixture of ingredients out there that when combined, they make really great stuff. And organizational mastery is exactly the same. It's a bunch of things that are out there, but I create a unique approach to make sure that organizations work in 3-month cycle, implementing all this crazy stuff together in one unique approach. So yes, I'm not creating individual pieces. What I'm creating is the unique whole, right? I'm putting everything together. And I'm pretty sure people will send me emails and tell me that I'm an idiot. I'm not creating anything. Like Reddit this week, in one of the guys replied to the intro of my book, tell me, this is a piece of shit. You are not creating anything. Thank you so much.
Right. And is it in moments like that you're taken back to high school? Have you made that association?
Yeah, but at the same time, like Veronica, I got an email from that guy, and 10 minutes later, I got an email because, like I said, I got like 50 emails in 2 days. 5 minutes later, like I got an email from a guy, Lewis. This is why I'm following you for so many years. Every time you put something out, the content is so extraordinary, so awesome, and you are really making a difference. And I love everything what you do. Just continue, and then it's just screw it, I just forget. And yesterday was a day where a lot of people seen a lot of negativity, and that's why I say, a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you are so lucky for the life that you have." And I say, no, it's not luck. It's really hard work, because I need you, me, everyone. Jürgen, David Snowden, these guys are very polemic, and I love this kind of polemic stuff. They need to take so much bullshit on the daily basis. Everyone that does not like their way, it will criticize, will say bullshit. But when you look back and you see the people that are criticized, what the heck do they do? Right? It was one guy yesterday, because the intro was saying, if after reading the intro, would you go and change the page to the first chapter? And one guy clearly said me, no, this is a bullshit. And you say that you are very agile, but since the moment that I subscribe until now, you took me 8 months. This is not agile. This is not slow. It's a fraud. Something like that.
Okay.
So you just need to learn how to do it. Just screw it. You are here to make a difference, and you will impact people's life. And this is what you need to focus. All the rest, these guys will be frustrated the rest of their lives. They will be unhappy, and we will here changing the world, man. Who cares?
Good message. Okay. Something I like to ask people at the end of these podcasts is what to you does it mean to be human?
That's a cool one. So I'm changing a lot, and I'm very happy because I'm changing a lot. So it's very interesting, because all my life I saw these videos, and everyone says, more you have, more you want to give. And I was, it's such a bullshit. This is such a blah blah thing. But now it's so true. And one of the things that I'm launching pretty soon in Evolution for All, we want to give much more to the community, and we started now programs in giving water to schools in India. We started to invest in entrepreneurship training for ladies in Zimbabwe, and the whole idea of this is basically it's an association called Buy One Give One. So basically, once some of your customers do something with you, you give back to the community. And for me, being human is really starting to care with others. Is really helping others to be better than what they are. Is helping them to have a better life. It's basically caring about others. I saw so many people that they are so selfish. They only care with themselves. And now I'm having this, and this is, again, you're saying it's fluffy, and yes, I care with fluffy stuff. It's just a different way how I care. But this, it's such a great feeling that actually more successful Evolution for All is more I want to give to the community and those other people. And it feels so good. It really feels good, and I'm starting next month, 2 months ago. It's just a matter of we need to put the website up and running. This is so cool. People might think this is marketing, but then again, I don't care. For every subscriber that comes to our mailing list, I'll give water, drinkable water to a school in Zimbabwe. For every book that I will sell, I will contribute with the scholarship for ladies entrepreneurship in other countries. For every workshop that people buy from us, we'll give another. So it's like a scale. Higher the price it is, higher it will. So for anyone that will buy our Organizational Master 12 months product, most probably will build a school in Timor. It costs like $5,000, you know? So, and for me, if everyone would, so I don't want to play God here. It's nothing like that, right? But if so many more people would give back, right? The world, it would be so easy and it would be so much better. And at the end of the day, it doesn't cost you anything. It is like this. If you take a look into b1g1.com, with few cents, you are already contributing to schools, you are contributing to drinkable water. You are saving literally lives with few cents. And this is ridiculous, you know. I saw yesterday how much money the biggest amount of money made in the whole world is owned by a very small percentage of people. But you don't even need to be rich to make a difference, right? And one of the things that I want to start doing with Evolution for All, I start with a very basic experience in my birth in Facebook. I create a campaign, a donation campaign, where I ask 100 euros to save some dogs in Portugal, some really basic stuff. And people ended up to give me 150 when I asked 100. And this is where I want to take Evolution for All. So I will start little by little to do public campaigns. When I go to customers, I will ask customers to contribute to these things with few euros, few thousand euros, whatever the customers can give. And this is my strategy to really make an impact in the world, to create a better world. If I have the power to, every time I go to a customer, I get few thousands of dollars to contribute to few hundred of people in Africa, in India, Zimbabwe, Indonesia, whatever, man, little by little, I'm doing my contribution. And if everyone would do the same, we would have such a much better world.
Beautifully put. Okay.
A lot of people accuse me, like I told you yesterday, Richard. A lot of people told me, "Oh, this is just marketing bullshit." At the end of the day, like we said today, I don't care, dude. You go to bed thinking that I'm doing marketing bullshit. I go to bed because I know that I help people, and I'm somewhere in the world that no one will never know me, but I help them. I was able to provide water for them to drink, potable water in the school. And this feels good. At the end of the day, I don't care with what others think. I know that I'm contributing, and I know this make me extremely happy.
Fantastic. And for those of you who'd like to hear more, so we'll make some listings below for Organisational Mastery, your personal blog, your company site, Evolution for All, and then you said B1G1, right?
Yeah, that I really highly recommend. So it's a very interesting. It's based in Singapore. Those guys are based in Singapore. There are several of them. I just got B1G1 because I got a business mentor and he highly recommended me. The way how it works is you pay a yearly fee for $500 for people have salaries there and so on. So you pay for the salaries, and then all the donations that you give, 100% go straight to the causes. So they don't take any money whatsoever.
That's a great model, isn't it? So it's really clear to you, like which part of your
they're very transparent
administration and which is going to the cause.
They are very transparent. You pay, if you are one sole entrepreneur, it's 300, 400. I pay 500, 600, something like that, because we are until 10 company, and then they create a company account, and actually every employee has an account so that you can have an app, and every employee in your company can just donate. It feels good. You wake up in the morning, goes to the app and puts 5 cents, $5, $10. So you really have a ripple effect in your company. And they are very clear. $600, it's the yearly fee you pay every year. And then after that, all the donations is 100% directly to the causes. They don't take any money.
That's awesome. Yeah. And does it right? And do they get into ranking? Because I know there's a movement now, isn't there, to rank, the impact of your money, right? So how much?
They don't rank, but they do something very interesting. That is what I'm going to ramp up in Evolution for All side. They give you a Google map of your impacts. So it's a very interesting widget that you put on your website, and for every impact, you have a Google map to show you every impact that you did, and you have a widget that tells you how many impacts you already caused in the world and which impacts are they. And basically that you can have a widget and put it on website. That's what I'll do, because then you can create another widgets, which is kind of campaigns. So for example, I do a lot of marketing with email. So one of the things in the future is on Christmas or something like that, I will drive a lot of the traffic to my company to ask people to contribute with $1, $2 to causes. And even if it's on my website, of course, the money does not come to me, it goes directly to the B1G1, and they will transfer the money to the whole causes that people will do. So it's a very, very well, smartly done thing. It's very easy, very, very easy to give. So only if you don't want to give it, there is no way that you cannot, that you can find an obstacle to not give.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being so honest and open in the course of this discussion, and polemical as well. Appreciate that. Looking forward to the reactions. Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you very much, and
thank you,
and have a great day. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
See you. Ciao.